It's an incredibly exciting time for Star Wars on the big screen. After several years with no theatrical releases, a galaxy far, far away is finally heading back to cinemas with The Mandalorian and Grogu arriving in 2026. The long wait has created a sense of anticipation not felt since the build-up to the sequel trilogy, and the excitement continues to grow. That hype is only intensifying thanks to the lineup of planned and rumored movies that may follow. Disney is developing multiple projects, while fans rally behind the idea of a Ben Solo movie that explores the rise of Kylo Ren, Adam Driver. A film chronicling his transformation would certainly generate plenty of attention, but it still isn't the most in-demand Star Wars movie out there. Long before petitions for a cancelled Ben Solo movie began circulating, fans were demanding something else entirely, a re-release of the unaltered theatrical cuts of the original trilogy. With a major Star Wars anniversary on the horizon, Disney finally has the perfect opportunity to make that long-standing fan dream a reality. 2027 is the perfect opportunity for Disney to release the original cut of Star Wars. Fans have waited decades for the saga's biggest anniversary. 2027 marks the 50th anniversary of the original release of A New Hope, back when it premiered simply as Star Wars in 1977. That milestone places Disney in a unique position. Few films in history command the legacy, cultural weight, and cinematic influence of Star Wars, and no anniversary is better suited for honoring the movie that started it all. Celebrating the 50-year mark with the original theatrical cut would be a definitive acknowledgement of the franchise's roots. Those early prints didn't just launch a blockbuster saga, they redefined what blockbusters could be. The original Star Wars changed filmmaking, special effects, sound design, and movie merchandising forever. Recognizing that legacy means celebrating the film in its authentic, historically significant form. While the special editions and subsequent digital alterations have their supporters, there's no denying that many fans want to revisit the movie as the world first experienced it. The original 1977 cut represents a moment in cinema before CGI-enhanced dewbacks, revised scenes, altered dialogue, or a digitally inserted Jabba the Hutt. Those changes reflect evolving technology, but they also mask the practical ingenuity that shaped the film's identity. The 50th anniversary provides a clear, unmissable opportunity for Disney to restore and re-release that theatrical version. Not only would it honor George Lucas's groundbreaking achievement, but it would also serve as a celebration of cinematic history. This wouldn't merely be a nostalgia-driven gesture, it would be a recognition of Star Wars as a transformative cultural moment. A theatrical re-release in 2027 could also create the kind of event-level excitement that modern blockbusters strive to capture. Screening the original version in theaters, fully remastered yet unchanged in content, would allow audiences to reconnect with the movie that redefined science fiction. Many longtime fans never had the chance to see the unaltered version on the big screen, and newer fans haven't had legal access to it in decades. Star Wars fans deserve to see the restored version of the original trilogy. Half a century later, the Star Wars community has earned the chance to experience history as it truly was. Over almost 50 years, the Star Wars fandom has grown into one of the most passionate and engaged audiences in entertainment. Fans have embraced every era of the franchise, from the original trilogy to the prequels, sequels, and Disney Plus shows like The Mandalorian and Ahsoka. Throughout all that growth, their enthusiasm for the original trilogy has never diminished. What has diminished, however, is access to the unaltered versions of those films. Fans have watched countless revisions of the trilogy over the years, especially A New Hope, which has seen more alterations than almost any major movie in history. While these updates have historical relevance of their own, they don't replace the importance of preserving the theatrical versions. The original Star Wars theatrical cuts represent a turning point in cinema. They show the pioneering model work, matte paintings, tactile creatures, and groundbreaking practical effects that changed the industry. Altered versions, while interesting, layer modern digital tools over moments that were originally achieved through optical compositing and creativity under technological limitations. For longtime fans, this piece of Star Wars history matters. Many saw the originals in theaters, on VHS tapes, or during early TV broadcasts. Others grew up hearing about the versions that no longer circulate legally. The desire to see these films as they were isn't nostalgia, it's about respecting the craft that shaped the franchise. Restoring and releasing the originals would let fans experience Star Wars as a piece of film heritage, not just a continually updated blockbuster. Movie lovers regularly celebrate restored classics like Metropolis, The Wizard of Oz, and Lawrence of Arabia. The original Star Wars trilogy deserves the same treatment, especially given its impact. With a restoration, fans wouldn't just gain access, they'd gain context. Being able to evaluate the original films alongside the special editions would help audiences better appreciate the evolution of Star Wars and understand why the franchise became an industry-shifting phenomenon. After 5 decades of loyalty, excitement, and active participation in the saga's every twist, Star Wars fans have more than earned the opportunity to see the originals restored, preserved, and celebrated. The re-release of the original Star Wars trilogy would change the franchise forever. Making the originals available again would transform how Star Wars is viewed in the streaming era. Re-releasing the original theatrical cuts of Star Wars wouldn't just satisfy fan demand, it would fundamentally change how the saga is understood in the modern age. Streaming has made the franchise more accessible than ever, but Disney Plus currently presents Star Wars as a living, constantly revised cinematic universe. The originals, however, represent a snapshot of filmmaking history. Making those untouched cuts accessible would give subscribers a new way to explore the franchise. They would be able to see Star Wars not just as a modern multimedia empire, but as a groundbreaking achievement that helped shape blockbusters, visual effects, and cinematic storytelling. That context deepens appreciation for everything that followed. The re-release would also allow new fans to understand the historical significance of the trilogy on par with trilogies like The Godfather and The Lord of the Rings. While Star Wars remains celebrated for its characters and mythology, the original films deserve equal praise for their craft. Preserving the unaltered versions elevates them as works of art, not just components of a vast canon. Making those versions available would also add layers to the viewing experience. Fans could track how the franchise evolved from the tactile realism of 1977 to the digital advancements seen throughout Lucas's updates. This kind of access would transform Star Wars from a franchise that merely displays its history to one that actively preserves it. A re-release could prompt documentaries, behind-the-scenes retrospectives, and restored archival content exploring how the original trilogy was made.